Okay, guys, what's up? My brother Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Here to do my recap slash review on episode 4 of The Cape. Yes, I'm still watching this show, uh, entitled Scales on the Train. uh, this episode was kind of interesting. We got a little more backstory on some of the characters, especially Scales. So basically, the episode is more about Vince still trying to, get the people of Palm City to realize that Peter Fleming is chess. So what he does is basically as the Cape, he tips off Dominic Raoul, aka Scales, played by Vinnie Jones, that Peter Fleming's is chess and has been extorting money from him. So Scales is kind of on the uppity. He don't know if he can trust Vince. Vince is also a little upset because in this episode it was Tripp's birthday, and this has pretty much been the first time he hasn't been able to wish his son birthday. I understand that I got behind that story a little bit, a lot. So what Scales does is basically he heads to a costume party that's being held on a train to confront Fleming chess, and Orwell and Vince the Cape head on the train as well. But also in between that, we find out that Max and the Carnival of Crime is actually going to hit this train. They're going to heist the train, because Vince even asked for their help in the beginning. But I think Vince he hasn't forgotten, but he's thinking that maybe they still can help him no matter what. But I think sometimes Vince is still looking at that, he has to remember that these guys are still criminals in some way. They're robbers. So on the train, Scales is just going around talking to Peter Fleming. He's dressed up like a cowboy, and he even meets the mayor, and since it's a costume party, the mayor looks at Scales and is like, "Oh my God, that's a very interesting costume." And pretty much he says, "What are you talking about? Bat." He's like, "You need to get your eyes checked, because it pretty much is not a costume." And all through the episode, we pretty much see that Scales is basically doing this because if he doesn't do it, if he doesn't keep his load, that he's gonna basically rat to everybody that Peter Fleming's is chess. And lo and behold, he finally does. He finally does, and nobody cares. Everybody just laughs it off like it's fake. Until Scales just says, "You know what? Forget this," and pretty much almost robs the train. He basically robs the train, and he even dislodges the train from the main engine train, and basically it's a runaway train. And there's a fight between Scales and the Cape on top of the train at one point, and it was okay. The fight was pretty decent once again. And from there, it goes to now that the Cape is basically, he gotta stop the train. So what he does is basically he needs help, so he asks Peter Fleming to help him. Actually, the enemy of my enemy now, right? But even before that, Max actually takes Scales at gunpoint and basically tells him, like, last time I met you, I had 3 bullets in different parts of my muscle. And I always wonder what I'd do to you if I saw you again. And they put, and this is where I'm talking about, where we get to see a little bit more characterization between the characters. Max is telling Scales to get in the cage, and when Scales is walking to the cage, there's like flashbacks of, I guess, Scales' dad and people like that. It shows that Scales was a part of a freak show himself, like maybe a carnival sideshow, and when he finally gets pushed in, like, it really sends him over the edge. So then when they lock the cage, Scales is just cracking his head on the cage, basically losing brain cells actually, but he's just cracking his head, bam, 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 and Vince and Flemings are able to stop the train. But even in his mind, Vince is still reminded of what Chess said in the pilot episode. I will find out who you are, and when I do, I'm gonna hurt your family and stuff. So when they stop the train, Peter Fleming says basically, you're always up for the challenge, the game, and the Cape, Vince grabbed him up and says, "This is not a game. I'm gonna end you." And it pretty much goes from there. There was some interaction between Trip and Vince's wife. Pretty much, Vince's wife's boss trying to interact with Trip, and he's not really having it too much. He keeps the door locked. It was kind of funny. And finally, the funniest thing that was funny to me, between me and when me and Hoagland was watching it, was as Scales is just cracking his head, all of a sudden he just stops, and then he just pushes the gate, and the gate opens, and I'm like, oh snap. And then he actually sees a guy that he said, "I'll remember you," and he grabs him, and then I guess he took him out from there. In the end, this was a solid episode. I can't wait till next episode. We get introduced to, I guess, another character known as Dice, and she wants to kill Peter Fleming. So that's going to be interesting to see. However, since it was Trip's birthday, Vince does give his son a birthday present, but as the Cape, he gives him a compass. And pretty much we see Vince talking to Max and basically saying, he even said, I sometimes forget what you are. Like, I forget that you are a thief and things like that. And he starts to say, like, look, sooner or later in the future, our paths are not going to be on the right sides. And Max basically says, well, until that day, let's just stay what we are right now. Overall, like I said, solid episode. It was very entertaining. I did enjoy it. I know a lot of people who may have kind of lost their faith in the show, but I still just, my advice to you guys is give it maybe a couple more episodes till you really don't just put it on the back burner because it's not action packed or anything like that. Give it another shot for all those who are kind of lost their faith in it. But to all those who have still continued to watch it from the pilot to now, continue to watch it. I have a feeling it will get better with the more episodes that come out. They probably get more gritty. Vince is probably you're going to see more of, and quote unquote, more of Vince's, the Cape's Rogues Gallery come out now. And who knows? I mean, I have a feeling that he might actually reveal himself to Trip in a future episode where he would tell Trip that I'm alive, just keep it a secret, don't tell your mom or anything like that. I have a strong feeling that he will do that. And it'd be very cool if he did. You know, I don't think Trip would tell anybody who he is, but that's just how I figure it out. But other than that, like I said, for all those who are giving their faith, give it a chance. You know, give it some more time. But other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid telling you, stay tuned, keep it real, one love. You guys take it easy.